4 simple things to get a jump start on leveling up your life. The fact is, your life could be better than it is right now. And the main thing that keeps you from being healthier, wealthier, and happier is you. By and large, it's your thoughts, your words, your actions, and experiences that has created the life that you see around you. And maybe what you see isn't so bad, but it could always be better. If you want something different than what you've always gotten, you have to do something different than you've always done. The first step to making the changes you want in your life is to develop discipline. If you fail to develop this essential skill, even if you find some kind of mediocre success, you'll still end up feeling empty. And maybe the most disciplined person on earth is Navy SEAL, ultramarathoner, David Goggins.
Richest of rich, who have everything. They always ask me this question. I feel like I'm missing something. I don't feel like I'm missing shit. You'll never hear me say I'm missing something. I found it years ago. You find it in the suck, and you find it repeatedly in the suck, to the point where you know exactly who you are. Most people are missing something because they don't know who they are. They never examine themselves. They've never done this experiment on themselves. We're all lab rats, but you're also the scientist. You create your own self. Most people are missing something because there's so much trapped in there. There's so much in you that God, or wherever the hell you believe in, or if you're an atheist, in you, that you have not unlocked, that you walk around with this gorgeous wife or great husband and all this money. You're like, God, I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, because it's about 75% of you is still in there, still chained up, because you just didn't want to find your willpower, didn't want to find your soul, your will, your heart, your determination, your guts, your courage.
One thing to note, that discipline is not the same as motivation. 20-year Navy SEAL Jocko Willink clarifies this.
Your sources of motivation.
Motivation isn't something that I am going to count on, because it's just an emotion that's going to come and go, and it's just like feeling happy. You feel happy right now, maybe you won't feel happy in 15 minutes. You feel sad now, maybe you won't feel sad in 15 minutes. You feel motivated right now, you might not feel motivated in 15 minutes. Therefore, I can't rely on it, so I'm not going to put any money on just being motivated, because it doesn't really matter to me. So the daily actions that I take aren't from motivation, they're just from discipline. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to get up and go through some big debate about, well, really, do I really feel like doing this? No, I don't feel like doing it, but it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go do it.
Discipline is the willpower to keep moving forward even when you don't want to. You can achieve anything you want in life by mastering this skill. And so you may be wondering, what can be done to skill up my discipline? Psychologist Jordan Peterson has this to say.
If you aim low enough, one of the things
Why do you see that? That's another thing you keep saying, aim low enough, have a low enough bar. Why do you mean that?
Well, let's say you've got a kid and you want the kid to improve. You don't set them a bar that's so high that it's impossible for them to attain it. You take a look at the kid and you think, okay, this kid's got this range of skill. Here's a challenge we can throw at him or her that exceeds their current level of skill, but gives them a reasonable probability of success. And so, like, I'm saying it tongue-in-cheek to some degree, you know, it's like, but I'm doing it as an aid to humility. It's like, well, I don't know how to start improving my life. Someone might say that. And I would say, well, you're not aiming low enough. There's something you could do that you are regarding as trivial, that you could do, that you would do, that would result in an actual improvement. But it's not a big enough improvement for you, so you won't lower yourself enough to take the opportunity.
Incremental.
And determining what it is that the wretched creature that you are can actually manage. Aim low. And I don't mean don't aim, and I don't mean don't aim up. But you have to accept the fact that you can set yourself a goal that you can attain, and there's not going to be much glory in it to begin with. Because if you're not in very good shape, the goal that you could attain tomorrow isn't very glorious. But it's a hell of a lot better than nothing, and it beats the hell out of bitterness, and it's way better than blaming someone else. It's way less dangerous. And you could do it. And what's cool about it, there's a statement in the New Testament. It's called the Matthew Principle, and economists use it to describe how the economy in the world works. To those who have everything, more will be given. From those who have nothing, everything will be taken. It's like what's very pessimistic in some sense, because it means that as you start to fail, you fail more and more rapidly. But it also means that as you start to succeed, you succeed more and more rapidly. And so you take an incremental step.
Those incremental steps will help build you up brick by brick into a powerhouse of self-mastery. And so, where to begin? One easy way to add some discipline training is to end your hot shower with some cold water therapy. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman says this.
Get under some cold water. First hour or so after waking. 1 to 3 minutes of cold water exposure will wake you up because of that adrenaline release, and it will serve to increase your core body temperature. Your body and brain interact as a bit of a thermostat system where if you put something cold on the surface of your body, your brain, a little cluster of neurons in the so-called medial preoptic area, act as a thermostat and say, the external of my body is cold, and therefore I'm going to heat up my core body temperature. So this is a little bit paradoxical. People think, if you get into cold water or an ice bath, your body temperature is going to drop. And indeed, that's true if you stay in for a while, but if you just get in for about 1 to 3 minutes, your core body temperature will increase. So then when you get out of that cold water, your body temperature is increasing at a slope that's steeper than it would otherwise, and you're going to feel more alert. It also has the advantage of increasing not just adrenaline, but dopamine, which is a molecule involved in motivation, focus, etc. So this is great for waking up.
When adding this into your life, remember what Jordan Peterson said. You can aim low. Remember, if you can't or are unwilling to do the full 3 minutes of cold water therapy, maybe start with 1 minute. Start off with changing it to lukewarm and then gradually increase the duration and or intensity until you are at that 3 minutes under full cold. By even adding this simple change, you'll be increasing your capacity for a successful and disciplined life. And let's clarify, it doesn't have to be cold water therapy. It could be anything you want to accomplish. Set your incremental goals, rinse, repeat, and profit. The discipline to stay on the grind will set you apart and drive you into wild, unbelievable success. The way you present yourself to the world says a lot about you, and whether you like it or not, people will judge you based on the way that you look and the way that you speak. So first off, this may be obvious to many. Bathe or shower and brush your teeth. If you smell off-putting, this will limit your ability to attract the kind of job, customers, spouse, and life you want. Dermatologists generally agree that showering with soap 2 to 3 times per week is adequate, although the general consensus among people is a once-a-day shower is the way to go, and especially so after any kind of exercise or any environment that you've been sweating. Brushing your teeth once in the morning and again in the evening after eating is generally what dentists recommend at a minimum. Be sure to throw in some proper flossing in the mix as well. No, not that kind. And after you've got these basics covered, next is your physical form. Now, you don't have to be the beefiest cake to ever exist, and most of you shouldn't be, but physical attraction matters. Listen to something that Pearl Davis from Just Pearly Things has to say.
I think everything starts with looks. Because I think that if you want a girl to genuinely desire you, like you have to be somewhat similar on the looks level.
Do you actually think that though?
Yeah, because if a dude is like, okay, if you multi-millionaire tomorrow, right? Or let's say fat guy, right? Multi-millionaire tomorrow. He can get a girl that's an 8, 9, or 10, but she's just with him for the money. So it's not like that genuine desire.
And not just in romantic relationships, but in professional ones as well. Let's listen to what millionaire businessman Justin Waller have to say about it.
What are your thoughts on men getting work done?
Anything you think you need to do that'll make you more attractive, more confident, all those things, do it. Letting somebody else determine or deter you from trying to be better as a person, I think would be a foolish thing to do. So yeah, get the veneers. If your nose is fix it. If you want to get a hair transplant, do it, man. Like, you're out here competing, and it's very hyper-aggressive competition. It's not easy. And let's face it, you're going to have a better shot in life if you're handsome. This isn't one of those things where it's like you need to be insecure or feel like you're less of a man just because you're trying to be more aesthetically handsome. Because the more put together you are as a person, the better you're going to do in life.
Diet and or exercise can be one of the easiest ways to improve your overall physique, attractiveness, and health. And let's be clear, I've been through it all. I've been skinny as a rail, chubby and overweight, and now finally stronger and more confident than I've ever been. Believe it or not, the biggest factor for me wasn't the weight I was slinging at the gym or the amount of time spent running or playing sports. It was the relationship I had between me and my fork. I plan on making a separate video on this topic, but suffice it to say, whether you're trying to gain muscle or cut fat, your calorie input versus output will be your key to success. Lastly, the way you dress and the clothes you wear send a signal to others about how you conduct yourself. There are easily a dozen videos or shorts on YouTube to help you know what to wear for any occasion. Dressing the part signals to others that you know what you're doing, portrays confidence, and attracts people to you. No matter how you look or present yourself visually, the next thing you will immediately be judged for is how you speak. Another millionaire businessman, Dan Pena, had this to say.
You only have 2 times to make a first impression. One's how you look. 2, what comes out of your mouth. Okay? A lot of guys and gals look the part, but as soon as they open their mouth, they are engaging in self-sabotaging activity.
Level up your speech through reading, listening to well-spoken people, dropping your slang, writing in a journal, and expanding your vocabulary. I have a list of books in the description that can help you do any or all of these things. Mentor and motivational speaker Jim Rohn had this to say about it.
Vocabulary, got to work on your vocabulary. Some of my friends took a survey among prisoners working on some rehabilitation program. They weren't particularly looking for this, but here's what they found. There's definitely a relationship between vocabulary and behavior. And here's what they found out. The more limited the vocabulary, the more tendency to poor behavior. And when you think about it for a while, it makes sense. Words are a way of seeing. And if you don't have a good vocabulary, you can't see very well. Can you imagine the mistakes in judgment when you can't see very well? Next, words are a way of expressing what's going on in your head, what's going on in your heart. What if you can't see well and you can't express well? You can imagine the tragic scenario of 5 years of that, 10 years of that.
Another aspect to how your words are landing is your posture and facial expression. A smile makes you more inviting and can help people drop their guard. The way you present your thoughts can make a big difference. Watch as I present some information in 2 different ways. Improving your tone, cadence, and inflection can help you come off as an engaging and interesting person. So can you see how by improving my tone, cadence, inflection can make a big difference? It makes the conversation more engaging and more interesting for whoever you're talking to. And of course, true communication isn't just a one-way street. Active listening is an essential part for understanding, but also for getting what you want out of the conversation. Whether it's sales, dating, job interviews, or asking for a raise, paying attention and confirming your understanding will help you know how to navigate the conversation towards a positive outcome. Men and women aren't just built differently, they're born with inherently different value structures. Well guys, what does that mean for us? We have to build our value to earn respect and attract that kind of long-term partner that we want. So what does that look like?
What's a high value man to you?
First of all, I want to say something for clarity. I hate high value. I hate alpha male, all that shit. I know it's a placeholder, but to me, it's a man. He knows who he is. He's taking care of his business and his finance, his fitness, his health, his style. He's able to look somebody in the eyes, have a real conversation with them. I even think to some degree it can even be vulnerable because he's not scared of somebody taking advantage of that because he knows that he can handle himself and give someone repercussions, like a truly confident man.
We've already talked about these with the exception of being financially capable. The beginner's jumpstart to this is to reduce and eliminate your debt, remove those excess expenses for things that you don't need, and maximize your income so you can wisely invest in your future. Is there a particularly non-profitable pastime that is soaking up your time and money? You can limit your access and or cut it out of your life completely. In your career, specialize, become invaluable, become the best. Push the limits of success in your field. Ask your manager or boss what's the best they've ever seen. Then strive to achieve that and more. This kind of dedication will set you apart from everyone else, and your pathway to improvement will start to become clear. And once this process begins, your financial success can easily follow. The next thing is know your worth. If what you're doing isn't paying what it should, or the pathway to career advancement is not feasible, you might consider a job or career change. Now hold on just a second. When making this decision, consider whether you've given your current job the dedication and focus it deserves. It's possible that the pathway before you is muddled because you haven't taken the initiative to do your best. After you've given it all and you decide that a change is necessary, swing that change into a pay raise, or at least the potential for significant improvement. With these 4 simple steps, you can jumpstart the next chapter of your life into wild success. Without these bedrock cornerstones, you're not going to find much success. So fine-tune and enhance your life. It's time to level up. Let's go.